Hi guys, and welcome to my channel, Changing Phases Tarot. So happy to have you here with me today. Now today's reading will be slightly different than the usual mid-monthly reading. And I'll explain why and how I'm going to do that. So first of all, I'd like to again apologize for not posting the general readings for the month of June and for not posting any videos over the past couple of weeks. I've been dealing with some personal issues, so instead of trying to go back and do that now, and we're at the middle of the month, I've decided to go ahead with the mid-monthly readings, but instead of just doing the love and romance and career and finance portion of the reading, I'm adding in additional cards for sort of a general overview for the remaining part of the month. So that's what you see here. So I'll be using for the general reading for the last 2 weeks of June, I'll be using the Crystal Visions Tarot deck. I'm knocking stuff over here. Okay, and that's by Jennifer Galasso. And I will be pulling an oracle card to go along with that from the Sacred Traveler Oracle Card deck by Denise, Linn. For the love and romance portion of the reading, I will be using these oracle cards. I've used them before, not in a while. I haven't used them in a while actually, but I was led to use them for the mid-monthly. So the Wisdom of the Oracle deck by Colette Baron-Reid. And I will pull an additional oracle card for the love and romance reading from James Van Praag's The Power of Love activation cards. And looking at career and finance, I'll be using the Chrysalis Tarot. Okay, and this is Paintings by Holly Sierra and written by Tony Brooks. And as additional guidance for the career and finance, I will be pulling a Life Purpose Oracle card by Doreen Virtue. Okay, again, as I like to remind you, these are general readings, so the messages may or may not resonate. The only way to get a truly personalized reading would be to order a private reading from me. If you're interested, you can contact me using the INSTANTGO app. Just download the app and search for me. On the app, I'm Changing Phases Tarot. I've put the information about the INSTANTGO app in the information box below. Or you could email me at changingphasestarot@gmail.com or take a look at my site, changingphasestarot.weebly.com. There you'll find the types of readings that I offer as well as pricing. And just, like I usually try to do in these, I don't always remember, but I try to just, thank everybody. I really do appreciate all of my viewers, everybody who takes the time to watch my videos, especially, to like, to comment. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. So I will stop for now, and we'll see each of the signs in 1 second for your reading. Hi Scorpio, hope you're doing well. I'm here to get into your mid-monthly reading for June 2018. As I explained in the introduction, it's going to be a little bit different. I've added in kind of a general overview for the last 2 weeks of the month, in addition to the love and relationships and career and finance. As you can see, I've already laid the spreads here. I know that there are a lot of cards out, so I will go through each spread and show you the cards as we move through the messages. Okay, so let's get started here. I'll begin with the overall, energy surrounding you for the last 2 weeks of the month. And we have here in the past position, so as you head into the last 2 weeks, the Three of Swords, followed by Major Arcana number 21, the World. And the outbound energy for the month is the Page of Wands. The card at the bottom of the deck, the overall energy for the 2 weeks is Major Arcana number 13, the Death card. And the oracle card that came out for you is Unknown Territory. You are exactly where you need to be. And I'll get to the meaning of that in 1 second. So starting off here with the the main spread. So the Three of Swords in the past position. The Suit of Swords deals with it's the suit of the mind, right? The intellect. It's where we come up with our ideas, our thoughts. It's also how we communicate with other people. But it's mental energy, cerebral energy. And, the Three of Swords is not the greatest of cards. It is in the past position here. So, I would say that for some of you, this is something you have already experienced, you've already been through. You're leaving this behind as you head into the last 2 weeks of the month. In general, we aren't speaking here of, say, a relationship, because in this were a relationship reading, the Three of Swords can many times speak of, heartbreak, sometimes three people in the relationship, so, cheating, that type of thing, but we're not looking at that. So just, in general, the Three of Swords, it can be a disappointment. It can speak of, some type of betrayal or heartbreak. But, more than anything, it's a loss. There's, grieving because of the loss. There's disappointment, mourning something here. And what's important with the Three of Swords is it's about the release of this pain. You can see here that the Three of Swords are actually, piercing her heart, but it really speaks of it's mental anguish. Again, it's the suit of the mind. So this is just mental anguish, disappointment, that needs to be, some type of loss. It needs to be left in the past. Yes, you need to mourn whatever this loss is, or, this disappointment, but it's more to release the pain and move forward, which does bring us to, and we have two similar energy cards here with these two major arcanas. And then, it does look like the rest of the spread, it sort of picks up, so it's very positive for the remaining cards here. So with the World card is the last card of the major arcanas. It is the culmination of the Fool's journey. The Fool begins with the 0 card, goes through all of the major arcana cards. They're all, spiritual, just emotional, spiritual lessons that the Fool needs to go through. And then finally, the Fool reaches the World card. So it speaks of a significant ending, ending of a significant chapter or cycle in your life. But more than this ending, again, much like the Three of Swords with, it's not just the loss and mourning the loss. It's about mourning it in order to move on, and the same thing with the World. It's about the ending of a particular cycle, but in order to, give way to something else, to give way to this promise of a new cycle, this new beginning. So there could be, for some of you watching, there could be a significant cycle ending, whether this is, within the career realm or, relationships, just some significant ending here. And again, it's echoed by the Death card. I'll get to that in a second. And then we have as the outbound energy, the Page of Wands. Now, pages in the tarot are usually messengers. They usually bring in news of something. And with the Suit of Wands, it could be, news of a new job. This could be news of a new project, something that you're very excited about, feel very passionate about. Page, it could also be a person, possibly, with the Court card appearing. So if so, this could be a younger fire sign individual, male or female, Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries. But it could just be, an event, just news coming in, and, it's very exciting news. Could be about a new opportunity, new creative endeavor. This Page of Wands individual is usually, if it is a person, is somebody who's very creative, thinks outside of the box. So, if this is you taking on this energy of the Page of Wands, it could be you feeling very excited about whatever this new opportunity is, this news coming in. And definitely could be this news of this new cycle. So with the Death card again, yes, it's a significant ending, but more than the ending, endings give way to beautiful beginnings. So it's the ending of a chapter in your life, ending of a habit, could be ending of a way of thinking. It can be many different types of endings. Doesn't necessarily have to be, the ending of a relationship or the ending of a job. It could be, the ending of a particular way of thinking, especially with this Three of Swords, which is this cerebral energy. So it could be, releasing that, mourning this loss, releasing whatever this disappointment was in order to give way to the new beginning. And, life is all about the cycles, as one cycle ending. Yes, sometimes the endings are painful, right? But you can't have this new beautiful promise and beginning without first releasing, letting go, ending another chapter, another cycle in your life. So there's, cycles ending, the promise of new things beginning, and possibly, it could be news of a new job. It could be a new project, or something that you feel very excited about here. So, and it's, again, the Death card, it really is a card of growth, of change, metamorphosis, renewal. And then with the Unknown Territory card, let me find my guidebook. I like to read the full meaning for the oracle cards. It says, Unknown Territory. Here we go. It says, you're exactly where you need to be, even if you're not consciously aware of it. Even if you don't have all the answers, keep going forward with your heart open. If you can't see clearly ahead and don't know where you're headed, keep moving forward. Do what feels right, even if your brain doesn't agree. Your heart always knows. Instead of dismay because you are in unknown territory, celebrate that you're expanding and growing by leaps and bounds. The sacred traveler wants you to know. Sometimes the traveler feels lost, a lack of confidence, or sense of being in unknown territory. It can seem that others know more or are more qualified. However, it can be this feeling of not knowing that allows one to step outside the bounds of convention and reach beyond the parameters of self that have been imposed by family, friends, society, and religion. It can be a very good thing. It can help you find yourself. Cherish those moments of not knowing. It's often during those times that the greatest revelations occur. Trust that all is well. You are where you should be, which does really play into, the rest of the reading, because with with endings and new cycles beginning, there is always a sense of, a certain sense of fear, or of, doubting, or not being sure, or not knowing what it might bring. But it's just asking you to, embrace whatever these new beginnings are, these changes are, because, you are where you need to be. These things that are happening, they're supposed to be happening. If there was some type of disappointment, if, for example, this was a job you tried out for and you didn't get it and you were very disappointed, there was a reason for that. So trust in, release this. Trust in the fact that this was not meant to be. This was not for you. You do have, endings and beautiful new beginnings coming in, but it's about trusting in this, this moment of unknown, this unknown territory. And we do have, actually, I noticed that there are you have two owls. The owl appears here on this card, which, obviously is a symbol of wisdom. And we have the owl appearing down here in your relationship reading as well. So, I don't know. I'll see when I get to the messages for that if there's anything else that comes through. But overall, I would say that it looks like a good rest of the month, but with significant endings and beginnings, but, needing to trust in whatever these endings and beginnings are and release certain things from the past, okay? All right, let's move on. We have, for the love and relationship part of the reading, oh, that's over here, sorry. Okay, in the past position, we have card number 45, and these are oracle cards. So the romance portion this month, I'm using the oracle cards by Colette Baron Reed. So they are, obviously they're not tarot cards, slightly different, messages coming through, but I did use them for a number of months, but then I kind of stopped. I do like them, so hopefully you'll enjoy them for this portion of the reading. So card number 45, it's called Time to Go. In the present, card number 12, A Change in the Wind. And the outbound energy for the month, card number 40, Co-Create. You can see the owl there. And the card from the bottom of the deck, the overall energy for the remainder of the month for love and relationships, is card number 30, Tick-Tock. This card came out for Virgo as well. So I would suggest, with these readings, it's always good to, besides watching your sun sign reading, to take a look at your moon sign and your rising sign. Sometimes the messages won't always resonate for your sun sign, but they will for the moon or rising sign. And the oracle card that came out is cause effect. You're aware that the love you create in your thoughts is an agent of change and the foundation of your results. So we'll see how this ties in with the reading in 1 second. So, time to go in the past position. This does sit in the past, which suggests that, for some of you, you could have already gone through this, right? You could have already experienced this time to go energy. It's interesting because this time to go card makes me think of the World card up here, the Death card, right? So even in, a different reading, focusing on a different area of your life, there's this message of, in the past that there was a need to walk away. This could have been, somebody walking away from you. This could have been you walking away from the other person. So endings, leaving a particular situation or relationship because, there was nothing further for you to learn from that relationship, or, especially when we think of sort of romantic, love relationships. Sometimes when we think of soulmates, there is a soulmate connection. You have this strong connection with the other person, but it doesn't mean that, when you have a soulmate connection, it's forever. Some soulmates come into our lives to teach us a message. Maybe we have a soul contract, with that person. So we're meant to come into, to incarnate, to have that experience with the person. And then, we finish, the soul contract is over. We've repaid, if there was some type of karmic debt to repay, and the contract is sort of over. So that could happen, and once that does, if there is a soul contract, ending or some type of breakup, then there's, it was meant to happen. So you both walk away from the relationship and, and you move on to something else. So for some of you, that could have been in the past, and it does sit in the past position, some type of ending. This could have been, or if it's not an ending, maybe this is the relationship changing. This could be the relationship no longer, being or having the form or looking like it has done in the past. Maybe something needed to change in the relationship, or something did change, for the better or possibly for the worse. Could go either way here. So, it's more about releasing. Again, we had the release back here. So there could have been a need to release the relationship, release the person, release, if there were any feelings of resentment, harboring resentment towards that person. It's about, ending it, but again, to give way to new beginnings, right? Sometimes if we think of in a love relationship, there's that saying, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it was yours. If not, it was never meant to be, kind of thing. So there could be a need. There could have been a need to walk away, and maybe to have that come back, to have a more or a stronger relationship, or to prove that the relationship was never meant to be. The two of you were never meant to continue on together. That type of thing. But there's a walking away, possibly releasing, ending, and the new beginning, followed by a change in the wind, which, as it sounds, change is afoot. There could be, and this does sit in the present position. So with this in the present, this could be you could be going through this change right now. You could have, the change could have been initiated, could have begun in the past with this walking away. And it's, it does seem a little bit, if you look at picture. It's like this house, and it looks as though it's almost being blown away, and it's on the back of the zebra. So it doesn't look that stable here. You know, it looks like it's a kind of a storm is brewing, a change in the wind. Might be, you know, the relationship might not be on firm ground, or there might be some type of change or shift in the relationship, or shift in the way that you feel about the relationship, even, you know, where the relationship is going. There's uncertainty as well. We have, you know, the weather vane on the top, and you see that there's a moon there, kind of indicating something is hidden, or something's, need to figure something out, or it's not that clear, not clear which way the relationship is going, or which way the winds are blowing here, and where it's kind of going to take you. Within a relationship, I mean, this can be, if you are in a relationship, it can be like not seeing eye to eye with the other person. There are periods where maybe you don't see eye to eye. Things are kind of out of whack, out of sync. The emotions, everything gets very turbulent, and there might be arguments, things like that. But sometimes, these things happen really just kind of clear the air, and lay a stronger or a firmer foundation for the relationship to move forward as well. So, it's about kind of taking shelter. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in the drama. If this is, if you are in a relationship, then just try to kind of remove yourself from the drama. Things will calm down. This too shall pass. You'll get past this. For those of you who are not in a relationship, with this time to go, there could have been, again, a walking away, ending of a particular relationship. And then we have, things are changing, this change in the wind. Things may be, bringing in new things, right? Heralding new relationships, new people coming into your life, new places even. So new things afoot, I would say. And then co-create as the outbound energy for the month. This card, it has to do with manifestation. It has to do with also being open, right? Being open-minded, opening your heart, opening up to new ideas. And thinking about co-create, it can be kind of you partnering with the universe, being open to what the universe is bringing in, which does really tie in with this TikTok card over here that I'll get to in a second. Or it could be you, opening yourself up to co-create, to build this beautiful, new relationship, stronger relationship, after clearing out, getting everything out in the open with the other person, right? This could be a change in the relationship. Maybe things were on rocky ground, but you were able to clear, kind of get everything out in the open, say your piece, the other person says their piece, and then, together co-create, build, this new version of the relationship. So, but again, it's about being open, right? It's about working with the other person. You can't build a relationship alone. You can't build the relationship, you building it. It's about co-creating, right? It's about working with the other person. And then with TikTok here as the overall energy, this is all about divine timing, right? And we know that time it's a human construct, right? So we came up with this way of measuring time, but things don't always happen on our time when we want them to happen, right? It's impossible for us to say, if you're not in a relationship, I want to meet a new person within 1 month. It has to be 1 month. Well, it might not be the right time. Maybe the person you're supposed to meet is in another relationship, the divorce hasn't been finalized. Maybe that person is currently single and really not wanting to get into a new relationship for whatever reason. So, there's timing involved here. And so it's about kind of letting go. And you see how the clock, it reminds me of the ace card, right? The aces in the tarot with the hands of the universe, right? The universe extending this offering to you of divine timing for when things are supposed to happen. It can be about, again, within a relationship, understanding that there are cycles for everything. It can have to do with, again, with the meeting, this sort of serendipity, and meeting the person when it's meant to happen, when there's when divine timing is at play, and being open to co-creating with the universe, open to accepting this divine timing and not trying to force it, right? You can't force something to happen. Just like you can't force somebody to change or to be different. You can only work on yourself. You can only, work on being more open or being more accepting. There's nothing that you can force to happen. Just like you can't force time, the timing of something to happen. It's going to happen when it's meant to happen. So, and then the cause and effect card. Let me find my guidebook for this oracle card, and it says cause and effect. Hold on, there we go. It says, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That's a law of physics in this physical dimension. There is also a universal law of cause and effect. The circumstances you are living in at this exact moment are a direct result of all the thoughts you have created. Thoughts are real. They are made up of energy, color, and density, designed and propelled by your intention. The universe, in turn, will perfectly respond to the thought energy you have created. If you desire a life full of love, happiness, and abundance, you must be mindful of your thoughts because you are the director of your destiny. Think of yourself as a magnet, attracting to you what you send out. It is imperative that your thoughts be of a high vibration, because the energy of judgment and condemnation will find its way back to you. What you sow, you will reap. So make it a daily practice to monitor your thoughts. Let love be your guide. And that's interesting. I think it goes back again to this co-create card, right? And this so the cause and effect, and knowing that yes, you're responsible for your life, for your own happiness, but it's also about co-creating, right? Of partnering with the universe, of understanding that if if you only sow negative thoughts, it's very difficult to have positive, flowers bloom out of the negative seeds, right? You need to keep your thoughts positive. You need to, and this can have to do with the way that you approach your relationships as well, right? So that's interesting, this cause and effect card going along with the co-create. So, all right, interesting messages here for your love and relationships. Let's move on. We have the career and finances. So, sitting in the past position, this is Major Arcana number 9, the Hermit. In this particular deck, it's called Storyteller. I love this deck. It's so beautiful. In the present position, the 9 of Spirals. This would be the 9 of Wands in the traditional tarot. And the outbound card is the 4 of Stones, or the 4 of Pentacles. And the card from the bottom of the deck, the overall energy for the last 2 weeks of the month, the 2 of Scrolls. This is the 2 of Swords in the traditional tarot. And from the Life Purpose Oracle card deck, you have Justice. Your career brings fairness and protection to others who need your help. Okay, so with the Hermit card in the past position. So the Hermit usually speaks of kind of withdrawing, taking time out to consider a situation, withdrawing from the world, being alone, putting projects on hold, seeking, that deeper meaning to something or an answer regarding something. It can have to do with also, not just, here we're looking more at career and finance, but it can be really reflecting, seeking out that deeper, meaning to things. In this particular deck, It's called The Storyteller, and it has to do with, yes, contemplation and thinking about things, but it's also about wisdom, right? And, the storyteller really comes in to connect you with, well, one, with the higher realms, but also it's about, having more confidence, and also, being really sort of fully consciously aware. So yes, it might be a good time for you to, be alone, sit in solitude, meditate as well. But it's about manifestation, right? And it's about manifesting whatever this is that you are pondering here, right? While you're taking time out. It does sit in the past position. So, this could have been, I'm sorry, let me lower the camera there. This could have been for some of you, in the recent past, heading into the last 2 weeks of the month. If you're listening to this before the middle of the month, this could be, actually going on now. Obviously, time is relative here, but this could be you, really contemplating, taking time out, thinking about, where your career is headed. If this is about finances, where are your finances right now? Are they where you want them to be? If not, what can you do to really turn your dreams into reality? What can you do to get that new job, to get more money? Whatever it is that you set as your goal, it's about retreating, withdrawing, reflecting, and trying to decide how to manifest that. In the present, you have the Nine of Spirals or Wands, and the Suit of Wands, it deals with the day-to-day, sort of the day-to-day things that we have to deal with, such as our work, creativity, creative projects. It's our own drive and ambition for getting those things done. And the Nine of Spirals, usually it's a card that we think of, it's kind of a defensive card, but it's also a card that asks you to keep going. It's a card of perseverance. There's a certain amount of change surrounding this card as well. In this particular deck, we see that, this ancient wind blower, you see he's blowing these 9 spirals, right, of wind here, which really sort of symbolizes, and we have the raven, you see there's the 4 ravens circling his head. So it sort of symbolizing the 4 cardinal winds, or north, south, east, west. So talking about change, right? The winds of change. And we had that, a change in the wind. That's interesting. That came immediately below it. And if we sort of position these up like that, we had in the middle position the World card, which again was to do with change, right? Cycles ending and beginning. So interesting, that came through here. Yeah, so, winds of change, possibly, it's you needing to kind of stay your course, right? Whatever this course is, whatever intention you have set here with the Hermit card, and focused your energies and meditated and decided to, to manifest that. It's about staying the course, holding fast to the course, even when there are things that kind of come out of nowhere, just like these winds, unexpectedly coming in to try to knock you off course. It's about staying on the correct path, staying on the path that you're currently on. And yes, you need to, it is a little bit of defensive energy. So you do, or you might need to, keep your guard up, keep going, persevere, proceed, maybe with caution, right? Don't just blindly walk into something, or whatever you've set as your goal here, or your ambition, or what you're going after. Don't just blindly, go after it. Keep your guard up. If usually in the traditional tarot, there's the person looking as though, he or she they're kind of resting, but actually they're planning. Again, going back to the Hermit, they're sort of planning, they're plotting, they're thinking about, keeping one eye on the future, on where they're heading, but also looking around them. So it's proceeding with caution, but persevering and staying the course. And then you have as the outbound energy the Four of Stones. This would be Pentacles in the traditional tarot. And the Suit of Pentacles deals with, the tangible things here in the material realm. Material possessions, material prosperity. It has to do with our homes, our families, the money that we earn from the work that we do. And the Four of Stones is a card that, fours in the tarot speak of stability, so it's sort of stable energy. But the Four of Pentacles kind of has this, negative connotation of, sometimes it's referred to as the miser card, because it's about wanting to hold on to, whatever you've managed to build up. You see here we have this beautiful, chest. We have the 4 gemstones on the chest, right? And it's about wanting to hold on to what you have been able to, accrue. So it's taken, maybe you've been working long and hard. You've managed to save up, a considerable amount of money. You're experiencing material prosperity here, which is, this is great. And maybe within this chest, you think of it as having put all of your possessions here, everything that you really value, and, this is everything that you've put away, and you're protecting it. You're trying to take care of it, which is great. But then, you run the risk of putting too much value on these material things. So don't let the material things kind of run your life. Don't put too much emphasis on or give too much value to these material things, right? This could be kind of a cautionary card as far as balance goes, with keeping things in balance. Yes, it's good to want to save money. It's always good to try to, as much as possible, put a little bit of money aside for emergencies, for, when the car breaks down, when somebody gets sick, you need extra, I don't know what, and you need extra money to buy that, So it's good to have money set aside. So the balance, with what you spend versus what you try to put away. But then, don't get so caught up in putting money away and saving that you turn into that miser, and money needs to flow. It needs to come in, it needs to go out, right? There needs to be this flow here. So yes, keep your focus on, if this is you focused on your career, on your material possessions, what you've been able to, to buy or to accrue, keep your focus on that. But also, keep your focus on the other important things in life, such as your family, relationships, your friends, right? Don't let yourself get caught up or get carried away with the material things, right? And then the Two of Scrolls as the overall energy for the last 2 weeks. This will be the Two of Swords in the traditional tarot. And the Suit of Swords has to do with our thoughts. It's the suit of the mind, right? Cerebral energy. It's the suit where we set our intentions. It's how we communicate these ideas or intentions to other people as well. And the Two of Swords, or the Two of Scrolls, is sometimes referred to as the impasse card or the stalemate card, right? It's about, standing there looking down, you have these sort of 2 paths to go down, but you're unable or unwilling to make a choice, right? This deck doesn't show it like in the traditional deck does. But usually there's a woman in a very sort of defensive pose with 2 swords across her chest, and she's blindfolded, kind of showing that, she's unwilling or unable to see the situation for what it is, to be able to make a decision. So it's, it's about it's more about facing choices, trusting in your instincts, trusting in your intuition. If you're blindfolded, if you can't see the situation really with your eyes, then go within. Again, back to the Hermit card. Go within, retreat. Trust in your instincts. Trust in your intuition here for making this decision or choice. It's also a card of kind of balance, maintaining this, this order or balance, perspective. So there could be, some of you could be facing, a difficult decision. It could have to do with, could play out in many different ways. If this is a job, this could be weighing up, should you stay in the job or should you leave? If it's with regards to finances, maybe you've been thinking about investing in something, maybe you've been thinking about buying, a home or buying something, doing something different with your money. And this is you kind of feeling unable or unwilling to make that decision. So, as far as guidance goes, really, the message for the last 2 weeks as far as career and finance, it has to do with going within, trusting in your instincts, facing the situation, seeing things for what they really are, continuing, persevering, but persevering with caution. And then again with balance, maintaining this balance, if this is keeping your finances more balanced, allow the money to flow more easily. Don't become so focused here on the, on the material. All right, with the Justice card as the guidance card, let me find it here in my guidebook, and it says Justice. This card signifies that your soul's purpose involves protecting others from unfairness. You will find satisfaction in careers involving mediation, law, political science, city planning, security, and so forth. You may even blend spiritual aspects into your career, such as healing work combined with conflict resolution, for example. You have natural leadership and delegation skills, and others look to you for direction and guidance. You honor and respect the responsibility accorded you, and you are highly respected as a result. The angels ask that you continue to trust your heart's guidance as your career evolves and changes. Heaven knows where you're most needed, and will help you with divine assignments that can put your skills to the highest and best use. Which is, is interesting because of the going within and trusting in your instincts. So there could be, again, there could be a choice, could have to do with, a career, possibly, it could be a career change, or just trying to make this difficult decision, and you're being asked to, go within, reflect, and then trust in your instincts, trust in that feeling in your gut as far as, which way should I go. And we also have this pathway. If you look at this card, which is kind of interesting, it doesn't usually appear like that on the Four of Pentacles. So you see that there's like this pathway, but it's kind of like, it depends on how you look at it, right? This could be the stairway or pathway leading to this treasure chest here, or it could be, leading away from it, leaving it behind, and then walking through this doorway, right, and heading into something entirely different. It obviously depends on sort of how you look at it, right? But it's about, possessions here. So it could be asking you to, to kind of close the door on this and leave this in the past. Maybe what you are considering going, this new path, if there's an opportunity here for you, it could have to do with leaving behind something that is of great value to you with this Four of Stones here. So I do hope that the messages have helped you in some way. I thank you for joining me today. I look forward to reading for you again, and just know that I'm sending you much peace, love, and light for a wonderful rest of the month. Bye for now.